Hey, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Shanae and today we're going to bake lemon macarons. These lemon macarons are one of my absolute favorite flavored macarons, and I'm sure I say this all the time, but this is true. Not only are we filling these macaron shells with the most amazing bright and zesty lemon buttercream filling, but we are also going to flavor the shells with the lemon. Ideally, if you're new to baking macarons, I don't recommend flavoring your macaron shells, but if you have mastered your basic macaron shells, this is the best step-up recipe to move on to. So for lemon macaron shells, you will need almond butter, powdered sugar, egg whites, sugar, lemon. We're going to use lemon juice and lemon zest, and a little bit salt, cream of tartar, and then yellow food coloring if you would like to. First, we'll start with the meringue. In a very clean bowl, pour your egg whites. I'm using liquid egg whites today, which works perfectly in my experience. Just be sure to check the labels on your egg whites so that they don't say not for meringue uses, because if it says that, it won't whip into nice and fluffy meringue. I'm going to start whipping it on speed 2 on my KitchenAid mixer, and once it starts becoming frothy, I'll add salt and cream of tartar, and I'll slowly start adding my sugar, about a tablespoon at a time. If you would like to learn the details of making meringue, check out my video on meringue, French meringue 101, where I include a ton of tips and tricks and a little bit science behind the meringue, so it will be really useful. I'm not going to dive into it here. And while the meringue is whipping, I'm going to sift my almond flour and powdered sugar. So let's get to it. So my meringue has reached soft peaks, and I'm going to show you what that means. When you lift your whisk, if there is a peak like this means soft peaks. And this is the perfect time to add your food coloring. Now with the food coloring, you can add as much as you would like or as little as you would like. I usually eyeball it, I don't measure it. While my meringue was whisking, I also zested and juiced my lemon. I recommend freshly squeezed lemon juice. Liquid makes the process a little bit difficult, but I find that a little bit lemon juice doesn't ruin the shells. My meringue has reached stiff peaks, but it's not quite stiff enough. I'll show you. When you lift, the point is getting stiffer, right? It should point upwards like this. But if you have watched my meringue 101 video, you know I like to take it a little bit further until I see a little nice definition in the ridges. And this is the perfect time to add our lemon zest. Make sure not to zest the white part of your lemon. When you reach the white part, it's very bitter. So I think my meringue is ready now. Let's double check. The meringue point should be nice and upright. And I like to see these ridges, sharp ridges. That means it's really nice and stiff for our macarons. Now we'll add our dry ingredients, sift it in. And then we'll start the macaronage. Gently fold everything. At the beginning, the batter is going to be super thick, but it's okay. Be very careful because we added lemon juice, which is extra moisture. Our batter will come together really fast. That's why we need to be extra cautious not to over-mix our batter, or your macarons won't hold their shape and will be too runny. It's flowing nicely. And then I'm going to check. We are almost there. Do you see how the batter fell back into the rest of the batter? I am gonna do like 3 more folds and then we'll transfer it into a piping bag. It's perfect. So I have a piping bag with a round tip And I'm going to transfer the batter into it and we'll start piping our shells. So I lined my baking sheet with my template. You can download this free template on my website in the recipe post. It's for free. You just need to sign up to my email list. And I put my Teflon sheet on top and I'm going to start piping. Remove the template, pop the air bubbles. Once you tap your baking sheet, your macarons will spread a little bit and get it into a nice smooth shells. And if you see any air bubbles on the surface, feel free to pop them with a toothpick. So now I'm going to dry the shells until they have nice skin form, and then I will bake. And meanwhile, let's go ahead and make the buttercream. So for the filling, we're going to make a really simple American buttercream with lemon juice. And while it's very simple, it's one of my absolute favorite buttercreams. And I'm not even a buttercream filling person, and this one wins me over every time. And for this recipe, you will need lemon zest, a little bit salt, powdered sugar, butter, and lemon juice. And because it's such a small amount, I like to use handheld mixer. And I'm going to whip butter first until it's nice and fluffy. Make sure your butter is at room temperature. And once the butter is nice and fluffy, we'll add our sugar. I like to use deeper bowl like this so that the sugar doesn't fly out. Hopefully it won't make a big mess, but here you go. So once the sugar is fully incorporated, add a pinch of salt, rounds up the flavor perfectly, and lemon juice and lemon zest. And then whip it until it's nice and fluffy again. Look at that. It's nice and fluffy. If your buttercream is a tad bit soft, you can put it in the fridge for a brief moment, like 5 minutes or so, to firm up. Such an amazing flavor. It's not like heavy, greasy buttercream. It's just super light, and that zesty flavor is just so good. So my first tray is ready for baking. When I touch it, it doesn't stick to your fingers. It has a nice skin formed, and I'm going to bake it for 18 minutes at 300 degrees. Okay, my macarons are baked, and this tray has cooled already, and I'm ready to pair them. I will show you how beautiful they are. Look at the bottom, so smooth, and beautiful smooth shells on top, ruffled feet. They're perfection. So I'm going to pair them, and then we're going to fill them. No matter how good your baking skills are, we always need to pair your macarons because they're all slightly different sizes. So it's really important to pair them. All right, let's go ahead and fill the macarons. I have a star tip. Don't pipe all the way to the edges, because when we put the top of the shells, we'll squish it and it will reach all the way to the edges. See how perfect it is? We're not ready to dive in yet. We're gonna put it in the fridge to mature for at least 12 to 24 hours. Since it's a buttercream, I am estimating about 24 hours, sometimes even 48 hours, depending on the moisture of your macarons shells. Also, you don't have to limit yourself with just buttercream filling for lemon macarons. There are so many different fillings you can make. And I actually have written a macaron fillings handbook, which is an ebook that you can download at any time. You can purchase it on my website, and it has all sorts of fun fillings like lemon ganache, lemon Swiss buttercream. You can also make vanilla ganache or lemon ganache and fill it in the center with a lemon curd, which is really delicious as well. There's so many possibilities. If you're interested, check out my website and purchase my ebook. I really appreciate your support. If you would like to perfect your macaron shells, if you're not quite there yet, I have a whole playlist with individual videos for each aspect of macarons.